So Black Ops 7 Zombies was finally revealed, and I honestly have a lot of things to say regarding it. Kicking things right off, about a week ago, we got the intro cutscene, like the full intro, and it was okay. It was okay. A couple of notes. I really liked the main antagonist that we were introduced to. I thought that was really cool when he was sucking their essence. That was that whole sequence, I think, was like one of the highlights of the trailer, or the intro rather. But I wasn't a huge fan of the fact that there wasn't a lot of interaction between the characters, at least in terms of dialogue. I'm hopeful that the actual map will do its justice. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of interacting between the crews, which I guess, for like a 3-minute intro, they did what they could. But I also feel like they could have done more with that. But, it was a interesting situation. They just got teleported into the Dark Ether, and the other crew, Bricktoffen and the gang, just sort of walk up in the corner and say, "Hey, welcome to the party." It was a good cutscene. It was good. I think it did a pretty decent job of setting the stakes for the map and the game going forward. It looks like this guy is going to be the antagonist for the game. I would think maybe he's just going to be a one-off. We'll solve it after this map. But I honestly, my gut feeling is that this guy, whoever he is going to be the antagonist throughout the entire game. Which, if that's the case, I really would like that, because with characters in the past that were the villains, like Dr. Monty, for example, he was mentioned throughout, obviously, his Gobblegum Machine, shit like that, Dr. Monty's Gobblegum Factory. But we didn't hear of him officially until Gorod, which is the 3rd DLC. So if he's going to be this Southerner is going to be the main antagonist, we're introduced to him map 1. I'm already liking that. Another thing I'm really liking is just the reaction from the community. So, speaking of the main villain, there has been a lot of theories going on around online about who the guy actually is. Who is this guy? And one of the leading theories that I really like is that it could be Jebediah Brown, who, from the original story, he basically is the guy that invented the Pack-a-Punch machine, which I think that would be really good fan service, and I think if they explain it well and they create a good backstory for this guy, I think it could be really entertaining. But for that, we'll just have to wait and see. But the fan reaction has been really positive overall. And at Black Ops 6, there was positivity going into Black Ops 6. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling very positive up until the launch, even post-launch. But Black Ops 6 had a good amount of hype, but I feel like Black Ops 7, despite the uphill battle it's had to fight, I think it's doing a pretty good job of winning the fight. Like, the fans, people online, it's been a good week. It's been a good week for zombies. And one thing that I really think, a couple of things, but the first thing I think that helps build that hype is the zombies beta, guys. Like, that's awesome. Like, imagine in 2015 you got early access to the Giant during the beta or something stupid. You know what I mean? Like, this is awesome. You're getting farm. Like, sure, it's farm, but it's part of the beta. We're gonna be having our fucking little grubby little paws on this game in, like, a week's time, and that's really cool. It's not something I expected, and it was a genuine surprise after watching the gameplay reveal trailer. And speaking of the gameplay reveal trailer, it looks good. It does. I like what I'm seeing from the maps. Overall aesthetic, I think it's a huge step up from Black Ops 6 and especially Cold War. It looks like zombies, and that makes me really happy. I'm a little, I wouldn't say skeptical. I guess I'm curious as to how the main map is going to play, because they're really putting an emphasis on the car, which, so did Transit back in the day, right? And we all know how that turned out. But obviously, with technology, things have just advanced so much that I think they're going to be able to pull off a huge, expansive map like this, where Black Ops 2, it just wasn't able to. And by the sounds of it, this map's definitely going to be big. You got a lot of POIs. So the main POIs are going to be stuff like Janus Towers Plaza, the Van Dorn Farm, which is, farm, Blackwater Lake, Ashwood, Exit 115, which takes on the diner part of Transit, but honest, it looks really vamped up. Like, it looks a lot different. I'm excited for that. And Zarya Cosmodrome, which, from the looks of it, it looks like Ascension in like a lot of ways. And it honestly, it might be Ascension. I'm not going to say yes or no because I just haven't seen the gameplay yet. I'm excited to see it, but it looks like Ascension, and that's really cool. And in addition to those main POIs, you're going to have additional smaller POIs. Like, I've heard the Cabin in the Woods from Transit might be there, and just some other smaller ones. So it's going to be a big map. There's no denying that. And we got a couple of new enemies as well. Zursa. This thing looks scary as fuck. I'm hoping that it's not obnoxious, but we'll have to wait and see. But in terms of its design, it looks miles better than any of the enemies from Black Ops 6. I feel like an issue I had with Black Ops 6's enemies, not just with the spam, but was also with just the design. Like the amalgams, the doppelgas, they all look somewhat similar to me. And I think this really stands out compared to anything from Black Ops 6. In addition to Old Tessie, which is the Wonder Vehicle, there's also going to be jump pads and traps as well in the map. But the jump pads is just another way to traverse, whereas, saw blade traps are, traps. But I just want to take a moment to extend my appreciation to Treyarch for really trying to make sure that everybody has a enjoyable experience with this game. Some little things that they've done is they're gonna fade in from black, like in the older games, which was a huge complaint. Honestly, it wasn't something that I particularly really noticed, but I'm sure when Black Ops 7 does come out, it'll be something that I do appreciate. So I'm really happy that even just the little things they've taken note of and are genuinely listening. But just going over this, I've gone over the blog posts and the trailers and just the colors of the map. It looks so much better than the Tomb, which, as much shit as I give the Tomb, it was one of the more, I guess, ambitious set pieces of Black Ops 6. And this is miles ahead of the Tomb, and I'm just looking at the pictures. And in addition to the smaller ways that they're trying to bring everybody together and make sure that everybody enjoys this experience, they're bringing back classic mode. From the sounds of it, they're calling it Cursed, which has to be unlocked, and I'm guessing that that's going to mean completing the Easter egg. But Cursed mode essentially means that you'll start out with a pistol. It has the classic point system. There's no loadout weapons, no mini-map, and you can find relics, which are inspired by past Black Ops Zombies games in order to make future matches harder. So, relics, it's kind of something similar to, I guess, the extinction mode from Ghosts had something similar where you can unlock these little tags, you can turn them on and off before each match. And relics, they basically can be applied to cursed matches once they're unlocked. And relics can only be found inside Easter eggs. Some aren't accessible unless you have another on. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But one of the relics is a 4 perk limit, which is cool for those that want it. Other people that don't want it can turn it off, turn it on. I honestly like having more than 4 perks. I do. I do like the idea of limiting them, but maybe more than 4, with the potential to earn more, I guess. And also the perk drop is going to be an actual perk drop power-up in this game. So I guess if that's in the classic mode, I might turn on 4 perks and just try to get some bonus perks from power drops. It's nice to have the options, though. One of the other relics is no ammo caches, which, again, I think if it's implemented well, that's something I would definitely turn on. I like having the challenge of, having to switch weapons. Go to the mystery box quick, I have to get another fucking gun, because I'm out of ammo and the game's not being very nice to me. I don't have any gobble gums. Like, I miss that. I think that's a layer of challenge that has been missing from the game. I'm not gonna lie, it's been very convenient in the past couple games to just buy ammo from an ammo crate, but it's not challenging, and it doesn't tickle the part of the brain that I want the game to tickle. It looks like other DLCs are going to be adding relics as well, so I guess we'll have to just have to really wait until the game comes out, because that's not going to be in the beta. We'll have to wait and see as to what Curse Mode is all about, but I'm excited. And in one last thing that they've done to appease old fans is they've, of course, brought back the original 4 characters. Now, I was and am still somewhat skeptical of their inclusion. I want it to make sense for the story, which has been, for lack of a better word, it's been shit as of late. So I want it to be beneficial for the story, but I also want it to be... I don't want it to be a stab in the back to the old fans who have, you know, said goodbye to the old story and have had said goodbye to these characters like 5 years ago. Well, no, 6 years ago. Shit. Time flies. But we've said goodbye to these characters, and I just want to make sure that the reputation of these characters stays positive. I don't want them to fuck it up. That's one thing. I just don't want them to fuck these characters up. I'm excited. I am skeptical. I'm very happy that the original cast, for the most part, has returned. Obviously, Tom Kane, unfortunately, can't reprise his role due to a health condition. You know, he had a stroke. So he can't, which is fair. And I'm not against them replacing his voice actor. And they replaced him with a very reputable guy. Like, he was in Star Wars. He's a very well-known actor at this point. Voice actor, that is. He's going to do great. But I just want it to be for the right reasons. And I know the cynical part of my brain is saying that they're doing this to grab the old fans and make them spend $70 one last time. And that's totally plausible. But in spite of that, they can still make something great out of this. Just thinking back to like Black Ops 2, what did Black Ops 2 do when they needed to grab the fans' attentions? They brought back the old 4. Origins. That was the last map of Black Ops 2. It was when Jason Blundell was really taking the reins. And yeah, he brought the old 4 back, and he did something great with them. And I hope that these new writers can do that again. With that said, I hope that there's more than 10 minutes of dialogue between these guys. There's 8 characters now. That's a lot. That's Alpha Omega levels, and Craig Houston back in the day was saying that it was a huge challenge to write for all 8 of these. He enjoyed the challenge, but he said it was a challenge nonetheless. And now you have 8 characters spanning across the entirety of the game. And knowing Black Ops 6, they didn't really speak a whole lot. They didn't have a lot to say. There wasn't a lot of in-depth dynamic conversation between the guys and girls, and that was a disappointment. So hopefully this is not a problem with Black Ops 7, but again, I'm skeptical. Like, just looking at the dialogue between the Tomb and Blood of the Dead, it's like 30 minutes per character on Blood of the Dead and like 10, 15 maybe on the Tomb. And I really hope that they put in the extra effort and give these characters those extra 15 minutes, because I do think that the in-game dialogue has a lot to do with the immersion of the game. Overall, though, I have to say that if you liked Black Ops 6 in its entirety, I think you're going to love Black Ops 7. I really do. If you were not so much a fan of Black Ops 6, I still think, as of now, that you really might find something to enjoy out of Black Ops 7. Whether if that's the returning characters or the beautiful art direction that they have taken with every map taking place in the Dark Aether. And again, if every map looks as good as Ashes of the Damned, I think it's going to be a good year. Obviously, the mechanics are pretty similar from Black Ops 6 to 7. I mean, it's been a year in development difference. It's a back-to-back sequel, so I can imagine the base game feeling somewhat similar, which means armor plates, weapon rarities, all of that. If you like that in Black Ops 6, you're going to like it in Black Ops 7. It doesn't look like they're changing much of that. However, for this classic mode, which is, you know, taking some swings with the relic system and whatnot, for that we'll just have to wait and see. I'm really excited for that, though, because I think if they can make it work for both types of players, why not? More the merrier. Overall, I think Black Ops 7's reveal exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect a whole lot, and I was pleasantly surprised. I know I was harsh. I've been harsh about Black Ops 6, and I stand by my criticisms 100%. because I feel like as a game that marketed the return of round-based zombies, I feel like they needed to do more to appease older fans. I do. And they didn't with that game. But it looks like Black Ops 7 is making up for a lot of that, which, you know, better late than never, right? There's still a lot of loose ends within the story, which took a shit this year. It had some high highs and very low lows. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. I really hope that the story is on an uptick, though, because Black Ops 6 was really lacking in that department. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Craig Houston, who has been the main writer of Zombies, I feel like, since the beginning to a degree. He's worked on like every Call of Duty for Treyarch since World at War. However, I guess he took a leave of absence, and he hasn't been in a lot of the marketing for this game or Black Ops 6. So maybe he stepped aside. Hopefully not, but I wonder if Black Ops 6 was more of like a transitional year from old writer to new writers. So we'll have to see. I have confidence, but also I did for Black Ops 6 as well. But we'll be playing it in a week, so that's going to be exciting. And I'll definitely get gameplay. I'll definitely give my opinions. Although, again, as a base game, it's probably going to play very similar to Black Ops 6. One thing I hope is I hope the tac sprint doesn't return. I haven't really been keeping that much in, I haven't kept in touch that much with the game. But tac sprint, remove that. At least make it an option if you want. But for zombies, just remove it. But yeah, I'll play it in a week, and it's probably going to be it'll be me giving my opinion on how the game looks, more so than how it plays, just because I'm expecting a lot of similarities between Black Ops 6 and 7. But what did you guys think? Are you guys hyped for Black Ops 7? Are you pre-ordering Black Ops 7? Are you playing the beta? Are you playing the zombies beta? I want to know. Let me know. Leave it in the comments, and remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And yes, the Origins Retrospective is coming. I know I've been very slow. A lot's been going on in my life. If you've been reading my posts, you would know. But yeah, it's coming soon. Anyways, guys, I'll see you next week. Peace out.